I'm Kell Brook, the IBF World Welterweight Champion, and you're watching Behind the Gloves.
This is Ona Bass from Behind the Gloves. I'm here with Eddie Hearn. Eddie, we're here at the media workup for Kevin Mitchell and Anthony Joshua and John Ryder.
And Jorge Linares and Yevgeny Gradovich.
I missed them. I came on time and I missed them. Yeah, so May 30th, big card ahead. How's all the fighters? You spoke to all the fighters.
It's everyone's here, everyone's ready. 7 big title fights and 7 hours of live championship boxing. Can't wait now. As a fan, just going to sit there from 5 o'clock on Saturday and just lap it up. So many great fights, 3 world title fights, 2 British title fights, the big man Anthony Joshua against Kevin Johnson, first real test, and Commonwealth title fights. It's a massive night.
I want to talk about Kevin Mitchell's fight first of all. Biggest test of his life, and probably, do you see it as a last chance saloon for him?
Yeah, I guess so. I mean, you know, I feel like Kevin's come on leaps and bounds since he's gone with Tony Sims and he's dedicated his life again to the sport. Jorge Linares is an unbelievable fighter, 3-weight world champion. As a fan, I'm a massive fan of Jorge Linares. He can bang hard, he's got great technical ability as well, but so's Kevin Mitchell. And I just feel like that fight, it's not going 12. I think it's going to be a knockout, and I think it's going to be just one of them where you're watching through your fingers because they're going to trade non-stop in that fight. I think it's got not just fight of the night contender but fight of the year contender. If Kevin Mitchell can win that world title, I'll be a very, very happy man.
And obviously Gennady Gradovich comes over from America, trained by Robert Garcia, well-known trainer. He comes as the IBF Boxer of the Year. I wanted to ask you, what sort of threat does he offer to Lee Selby?
A non-stop, relentless threat, Yevgeny Gradovich. That's the way he fights. He applies pressure non-stop. And you know, you look when Selby boxed Viriel Simeon on the Luke Campbell card in Hull. It's the same kind of fighter, and Lee struggled a bit that night. Lee's going to have to hit him hard, stop him in his tracks, because Gradovich is going to come for 12 rounds. And I believe Lee Selby's going to win the world title on Saturday night. But it's a really tough fight, like you say, IBF world champion, 5th defence of his title, IBF fighter of the year as well. Gradovich is a brilliant fighter, great trainer in Robert Garcia as well. But you know, the Brits are out to cause upsets on Saturday night and capitalise on the momentum of a great James DeGale win at the weekend.
Just wanted to talk about that James DeGale on the weekend. You know, he had a lot of fans worrying at some point, but it was a close fight. Obviously got the 2 knockdowns. Did really well out of Boston. How do you assess the performance?
Fantastic win. Andre Durrell is, you know, one of the best super middleweights in the world, arguably the most skillful super middleweight in the world. You know, I felt like he could have got him out of there perhaps in the 3rd round, but you can't take chances with Andre Durrell. He's a very dangerous counter-puncher. And I thought that he boxed well. He closed the show well in the 11th and 12th. I think he needed those rounds. I had him winning by 2 rounds. Massive win for him. You know, not just making history as the first Olympic gold medalist in Great Britain to win a world title, but to win a world title in the 168-pound division, come over here, massive future now, and he'll look to defend his title in Britain on October.
And Kell Brook, Frankie Gavin, was that fight pushed forward quicker than you anticipated?
Yeah, when I signed Frankie Gavin, I always knew that fight was probably going to happen. Probably happened 6 months before I expected it to. But you know, Frankie got a shot against Tim Bradley in a final eliminator, and he said, "Look, I'll take that fight, but what about fighting Kell Brook?" And I said, "Yeah." Spoke to Kell. He wanted to get out as soon as possible after the Jojo Dam win, and now you have, for the first time in boxing history, 2 Brits fighting for the world welterweight title. One guy from Sheffield, one guy from Birmingham. Everybody loves the domestic titles, and it's a huge night for British boxing.
And the man behind you, Anthony Joshua, fighting Kevin Johnson. I think Kevin Johnson's come out in the media saying he's a media job, a job. What do you make of that sort of comment?
Be careful what you wish for. Listen, Kevin's a very experienced fighter. I know he's trained hard for this fight. He's a good survivor. I think he's going to try and cause Anthony some problems as well. Anthony hits harder than any heavyweight I've seen. He's got better movement, better speed than any heavyweight I've seen. If Kevin Johnson can do the full distance, I'll take my hat off to him. But Anthony's on a mission on Saturday night. He wants to punish Kevin Johnson, and don't blink in that fight.
I want to ask you, obviously, Anthony Joshua's got he's in his 2nd phase of his career, as he calls it. When do you envisage him going out to America to fight or gain experience abroad?
Doesn't really matter. This is his market. You know, he's going to be a huge pay-per-view fighter in years to come. So, of course, you know, the American market's important. But for me, really, it's all about building him in the UK. We've still got a big job to do. I think next year, maybe at the end of this year, you might see him boxing in the States. Maybe even Germany. It's a big market for the heavyweight boxing as well. But right now, it's about building him in the UK. He's got a long way to go. Johnson's the perfect fight. Move on to July the 18th in Manchester, and then September the 12th will be his first real major fight, and you know, he's ready now. He'll be 13-0 going into that fight, and I think summer of 2016, Anthony Joshua will be ready for the world heavyweight title.
Slightly going off this card, just want to talk about Froch. He said to Sky Sports that he was going to have a meeting with you this week. Has that meeting taken place?
No, give me a chance. Just got back from Boston. No, we talk all the time, and we'll have a sit down. I think if he's going to fight again, I think it will be Golovkin.
Okay.
Which is just the best fight I can think of in world boxing right now. But I don't know if he'll fight again. You know, I think the DeGale win, you know, put a bit of fire in his belly, and I think the banter with Joe Calzaghe put a bit of fire in his belly. So Froch is not afraid of Golovkin. It's a tough fight. It's a dangerous fight. Obviously the deal's got to be right, but if he's going to fight again, I fancy it'll be Gennady Golovkin.
How's Team Golovkin got in touch with you, Tom?
Yeah, we speak all the time. They want the fight, of course they do. They want big fights, and it's the biggest fight out there for Gennady Golovkin right now.
And Amir comes fighting on the weekend against Algieri. What do you make of that fight? How do you see that fight going?
It's alright. I mean, it's a nothing fight. You know, obviously Amir said he wants all the big fights from now on, and he's in a fight which isn't a big fight. You know, it's on Spike TV. No disrespect to Spike TV, but it's off the main boxing networks, if you like. It's not on Sky Sports over here. It's gone under the radar. He needs the big fights. We've got one for him. His name's Kell Brook, but he ain't going to take that fight in a million years. So we have to do what we do and keep going. Look for a big fight if Kell can beat Frankie Gavin in August. If not, Gavin will be in that big fight. But you know, I just hope that Amir returns and gives the British public what they want.
Finally, before we go, what do you want to say to the fans that are looking to buy, going to be there?
You almost don't have to sell this one. 7 hours of championship boxing. You know, 4 Brits in world title fights. You've got Kell Brook against Frankie Gavin. First time in boxing history 2 Brits have fought for the world welterweight title. London's favourite, Kevin Mitchell, against 3-weight world champion and current WBC lightweight champion Jorge Linares. Lee Selby against the IBF fighter, the IBF champion Yevgeny Gradovich. Anthony Joshua against Kevin Johnson. John Ryder against Nick Blackwell for the British title. Scotty Cardle against Craig Evans, 2 undefeated fighters for the British lightweight title. John Wayne Hibbert against Dave Ryan for the Commonwealth title. It's absolutely packed. This is the best card in over a decade in British boxing. Get behind British boxing. Great win for James DeGale. There could be 3 new British world champions on Saturday night. Don't miss it.
Eddie, thank you very much for talking to Behind the
Club. Hi fans, it's Michelle Joy Phelps, and if you haven't already subscribed to my YouTube channel, make sure you go ahead and do so by clicking this little icon right here, or else